Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19, entitled The Appearance of Sukadeva Goswami, text number 32. Parikshit Vacha Aho Adyavayam Brahman Satsevyaha Kshatra Bandavaha Kripayatiti Rupena Bhavadvistitaka Kritaha. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charanaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The fortunate King Parikshit said, O Brahmana, by your mercy only you have sanctified us, making us like unto places of pilgrimage, all by your presence here as my guest. By your mercy, we who are but unworthy royalty have become eligible to serve the devotees. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Saintly devotees like Sukadeva Goswami generally do not approach worldly enjoyers, especially those in royal orders. Maharaj Prataprudra was a follower of Lord Chaitanya. But when he wanted to see the Lord refused to see him because he was a king. For a devotee who desires to go back to Godhead, two things are strictly prohibited: worldly enjoyers and women. Therefore, devotees of the standard of Sukadeva Goswami are never interested in seeing kings. Maharaj Parikshita was, of course, a different case. He was a great devotee, always a king, although a king, and therefore Sukadeva Goswami came to see him in his last stage of life. Maharaj Parikshita, out of his devotional humility, felt himself an unworthy descendant of his great Kshatriya forefathers, although he was great as his predecessors. The unworthy sons of the royal orders are called Kshatra Bandhavas, and the unworthy sons of the Brahmanas are called Dvijabandhus or Brahma Bandhus. Maharaja Parikshita was greatly encouraged by the presence of Sukadeva Goswami. He felt himself sanctified by the presence of great saint, whose presence turns any place into a place of pilgrimage. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So today's verse is such a wonderful verse where there are three important lessons which we have to learn, and many others also. The most three important is this verse is filled with a lot of quality of humility and the power of devotees association, and also the mercy of saintly persons. Many decades back, when I was in my final year of college, and it was during the exam time, and it was just a weeks to go to the exam, and our institution had organized a revision classes. It was a one class so that we can clarify our doubts, so tackle all the tough subjects and get some hints, get some clues, what all the questions would come in. So our college management had organized a person who was expert. So he had been appointed there, and we are all very much anticipating for that wonderful session, so that we can get all the clues and all the hints, so what all the questions we may get, so that we can only concentrate on those, and so that we can score well. So it so happened, to our astonishment, to our surprise, we were all anticipating for the session, and a young man just walked inside the classroom. And it was so shocking because surprisingly he was very short, and he had a childlike appearance, and also his outfit was very minimal, very simple, unlike how professors used to wear. So, and also he had his youthful looks made us really think twice whether he's an expert whether he would really give us what we really wanted. And we were really thinking that, so we wasted that time. We should have bunked the last class of our academics. Why simply came here, attending this class? So for a moment, myself and my friends were really confused, and we were doubtful whether this person is an expert who would really help us. And it so happened that I still remember each of us were exchanging skeptical glances, and some behind the class there was a lot of hue and sound, and they were whispering and making all sorts of noises. And this man just entered the classroom. He took the chair in front of us, and very in composed manner, very subtle, confidently, he just sat down. And without introducing anything about himself or about his credentials, about his achievements, or any of those, he just he invited us to ask the questions, or if at all, if you have anything, any doubts, to clarify for the exam. So we all expected that it would be some vague or some generic response he would give for our questions. So to our astonishment, it was so well, he addressed each and every of our queries, every of our questions, and so in a precise manner, and there was a remarkable clarity in his answer. There was a precision in his answer, and there was confidently he was answering. He was confident in the subject, and we all felt, wow, what we expected was something different. So he had a completely mastery over the subject. So at the end of the session, we all really realized that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where he came from, where he studied, or how much accolades or how much degrees he was having, or what titles he had. So he was so expert with all humility, and he was able to simplify even the complex subjects, complex concepts which we had in our college, in our academics. And it was so wonderful that we all, at the end of the class, we all felt, we left feel confident that we would be achieving more marks, and we are really grateful to that person who had, who gave us an invaluable insights to all of those. So in a similar manner, if you just see this Parikshit Maharaj also, that same situation here, just we have to visualize when Sukadeva Goswami, who had arrived to that assembly, and despite his youthful age, his unconventional looks, because it said in the previous verses, Abudaha, Striyaha, Arbakaha. So all the street urchins, the young boys, the mad women, they were all surrounding him. And he was not wearing any clothes, an unconventional appearance. And he was lacking in any social status or academic status, the scholarship and accolades. So, but when he entered the assembly of all the great sages who were assembled there, who had come from across the universe, so immediately all the sages recognized his great position, and they all got up and stood up, and with all respect, they bowed down their head. So here it is very important, because Sukadeva Goswami, who was Jivan Mukta, who was self-realized, who was liberated soul. One important point we have to understand here is the physical appearance or scholarly titles did not earn him this respect. It is only because of his deep spiritual realization is what earned him this respect. So it is said in the previous verses that Sukadeva Parikshit Maharaj was born as a Paramahamsa, not that he became Paramahamsa over a period of time after his sadhana or siddhi. So he came to the world, or entered this world, right from his womb of his mother as Paramahamsa. And completely he was indifferent to any bodily or material identification or designation or discretion. That was the greatness of Sukadeva Goswami. And that Sukadeva Goswami, who had come here to address the whole assembly and to bless the Parikshit Maharaj. He was so pure. There's one verse in the Bhagavatam which very much suits how a pure devotee is. In 11th canto, 26th chapter, 27th verse, it says, Santo peksha macchittaha prashanta samadarshinaha nirmama nirahankaraha nirdvandvaha nisparigraha. So how is a pure devotee? What is his qualification to become pure, a pure devotee? It is said, Anapeksha macchittaha, just in Bhagavad Gita also, macchitta madgata pranaha. So that the devotee who has always, he's fixed his mind on Krishna, always thinking about Krishna, macchitta. His prana is Krishna, everything is Krishna. And anapekshaha, he is not depending upon anything material. And prashantaha is always peaceful. Samadarshinaha is always equal to all living beings. And nirmama is completely free from all possessiveness or possessions or possessiveness. And nirahankaraha is completely free from all false ego. And nirdvandvaha, nisparigraha is completely free from all material dualities. Nirdvandvaha and nisparigraha is completely free from all material greed. So that is the quality of a pure devotee, where here Sukadeva Goswami is exhibiting. And here Srimad Bhagavatam is demonstrating us and is teaching us a lesson. So lesson number 1 from this verse. So his spiritual authority doesn't depend on one's physical appearance, but it's about one's realization. So spiritual authority depends on realization and not appearance, and we should not judge by external appearance. So external appearance is far less important than internal spiritual realization. Here, Sukadeva Goswami, even though his internal realization outshined his age, his dress, his social status, and all those things. So, here Parikshit Maharaj, we can see in this verse that Parikshit Maharaj is being an emperor of the world and highly realized devotee who is coming in the lineage of pure devotees. And what is he doing in the previous words? He's saying, Pranamya murtha avahitaha kritagnaihi natva gira sunrutya anvapricha. So, Pranamya. Murdhanam. So he is bowing down to Sukadeva Goswami, and Murdhanam, his head, bowing down, and Avahitaha, properly, Kritanjalihi, with folded hands, Natva, very politely, Gira, by polite words, Sundrityaha, in a sweet voice, Anvapricha, he is inquiring. So here we have to understand that Sukadeva, so Parikshit Maharaj is a Shrutadhara. He is also, because he is a personification of hearing, just like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu we have. So one who the personification of chanting is Sukadeva Goswami, and personification of hearing is Parikshit Maharaj. And he is teaching all of us to learn a lesson from here, that, and he has become so humble and without any prejudices, without any pre-notions, preconceptions, that what Sukadeva Goswami, where he learned, what was his guru, what was his qualification, what was his scholarship, where he passed out, and what is his degrees and accolades, nothing of those things, but rather he is simply just getting when he got the acknowledgement, when he got approvals from all the sages who are there, assembled there, Ashita, Devala, Vyasa, Narada, Vasishtha, Parashurama, all of them had come for that assembly, were all present there. And all of them just bow down in front of Sukadeva Goswami. And similarly here it is, we have to understand that Parikshit Maharaj is teaching us that devotee, we should not be swayed away by external appearances or external credentials or external academic degrees or qualifications we have. Generally what happens, when I've seen one devotee is introducing the other devotee to a public or to some person. So he'll be saying, this devotee, he did his bachelor's here in this college and master's in this college, and then furtherly he takes on to for the different subject. And the devotee will be thinking, tell more about me. And they have so many things to other to, you don't know, I worked here in this company, I traveled in so many countries. So devotee will be really thinking. But here we have to understand that one should not look at the external appearances or external qualifications, or we should not be swayed away by external credentials of a person. Rather, one should should focus on the substance of spiritual message which is conveyed. Recently, just in March or April, there was Kumbh Mela. So it was wonderful. I got an opportunity to stay for a month there. So it was wonderful that people, so all classes of people were there. What I noticed was if your pandal is such a very big and nicely decorated with lightings and sound and a big gaddi and a raised platform for a speaker to preach. And if that guru who comes there with a beard or big jatara and big robes and things like that, and people are, thousands of them were attending there. Where when other camps which were very small and hardly any people used to go. So in one person I really asked, actually I stayed for half an hour, I wanted to understand in one person, but really I couldn't understand what he's saying. And so this is very much important that one should focus on the substance of the spiritual matter discussed or conveyed, rather than looking into the external appearances. So spiritualization is neither a question of birth or academic qualification or opulence, but depends on hearing from the right source and rendering service onto that source. So here Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj has accepted Sukadeva Goswami as a spiritual master, and not on the basis of any material qualification or consideration, but spiritual advancement demonstrated by the speaker. So here, lesson number 2, what we have to learn here is, Krishna's mercy and protection transcends all boundaries. So just if you see, Krishna had protected both Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami even before their birth, when they were in their mother womb, in the womb of their mothers. So Parikshit Maharaj, when he was in the womb of his mother Uttara, so he was saved from the weapon of Brahmastra from Ashwatthama, and he protected the Parikshit Maharaj, and that's why he was known as Vishnu Ratha. And here, Sukadeva Goswami, who was very much hesitant to come out of his mother's womb because he was so much worried, or he was so much fearful of the influence of this material nature or the Maya, that even after his father Vyasadeva assuring him that you'll not be deluded by Maya, please come out, but he didn't listen. And he stayed for almost 16 years, they say, in mother's womb. And when Krishna himself who came there, and then he gave assurance that, and don't worry, please come, I will protect you. And then Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami, he emerged out from the mother's womb. So here, and that's why he was known as Brahmaratha. So here Vishnu Ratha, Brahmaratha, both are meeting together, who are protected by Lord Krishna. So we have to understand very important thing, when we face some fearful or impossible situations in our life, we have to really turn back to Lord Krishna and you have to pray to him intensely, sincerely. Then the protection or the grace would come, and there's no constraints, by any worldly limitations. Krishna can act upon our lives in any way. So without any such circumstances, or he can reach out in any circumstances Krishna wants. Even if you are in the womb, you don't have to come out of the womb and do sadhana, japa, tapa, dana, dharma, and then you see the Lord like Dhruva or anyone like that. Nothing of that sort. Even sincere prayers, even in the womb of your mother, Lord can protect you. So here it's showing very importantly that we have to, that you should understand the mercy and the power of Krishna here. And the lesson number 3 here is from womb to tomb. So right from the womb to tomb, Parikshit Maharaj had unflinching and unwavering faith on Krishna, which is combined with this humility here, which is showing here, because this verse outshines Parikshit Maharaj's humility. So, and also our steadfast devotional service which we do can transform our lives. So these 3 things very much important in our life. One is we should have unflinching faith in our life, and with all humility, and we should, with steadfast, we should perform our devotional service in our life, and this is what it can transform our life very quickly. So here we can see Parikshit Maharaj wanted to atone for his sin, and so he sat fasted to death, until death. And because of that, he is demonstrating here that it's not that because he had unflinching faith, from where the faith came from. So he, right from the womb of his mother, when he was protected from the Brahmastra weapon, the Lord protected him without any sadhana or siddhi. But the same Lord, he had a full faith that same Lord will also protect me from the Brahmana's curse. So that was the unflinching faith he had. So, and that's how Krishna also, so initially Krishna had protected him from the material death, and now Krishna is protecting him from the spiritual death. So here it is showing that Krishna is further guiding Parikshit Maharaj to take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, and so that he can enter Krishna's pastimes and enter spiritual world, spiritual realm. So similarly in our lives also, many times when Krishna enters our lives, as Srila Prabhupada books, as some prasadam, as some association, as some kirtan or some invitation, just like initially we all got this invitation, Krishna enters our lives. And somehow it is our duty and it's our responsibility to meditate and focus upon Krishna's love, that Krishna has come in our life. And we have to recognize, and with our great gratitude and with our gratefulness, just like Parikshit Maharaj, how he developed an intense desire to hear about Krishna Katha. Similarly, we should take shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, read Srimad Bhagavatam, should also develop intense desire to reciprocate with Krishna's love by reading Srimad Bhagavatam every day, so that we can also get prepared ourselves to enter into the spiritual life. This is lesson number 3 that we have to think. See, one important thing is, every day we are born, I would say, because every day is a new life for us. So if a day passes, it is that one day we are no closer to the death. That's what it says. So is very importantly, here Parikshit Maharaj is saying that if at all, if we are opening our eyes early in the morning, it's only because of the Lord's grace. It's not because of my energy or my potency or my ability. It's because of the Lord's presence within our heart that we're able to open our eyes early in the morning, and we are seeing the world again, and the Lord has given one more chance to purify ourselves. And when here Parikshit Maharaj, he is first and foremost, he is offering obeisances to his spiritual master, bowing down. Similarly, when we get up from the early in the morning, Hari Bhakti Vilasa very beautifully says that when you are taking the name of your Guru, you should, in the Anjali, you should fold your hands and just bow down your head, and then you should chant Namo Vishnupada, Anamo Vishnupada, Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti. Not like that. You should, the reverence how you have to give to your spiritual master matters everything. So similarly, when you should bow down like this, and then he is glorifying. It is saying here, Satsevaya Shatra Kripaya Titi Rupena, Atiti Rupena, he is saying that. Atiti Rupena, why? When Parikshit Maharaj just left everything, renounced everything, gave responsibility to his sons, Atiti Rupena, where he has a house. So, Atiti means what? When you have a house, then you have call people as a guest. When you don't have anything, when you have taken the shelter of a tree, what is Atiti Rupena? Atiti Krupaya Atiti Rupena. I was just thinking, somewhere Prabhupada says, Atiti Rupena, how a Grahastha should behave in his life. That will come further later. But here I just wanted to mention that Grahastha should be eager to invite the devotees in his house. And if he should make them sit and give some water to drink, a minimum. And if you say there is no seat, Sir Prabhuji, my house is, I'm very poor, there's no seat, then at least you should give a mat to sit. And even if you don't have mat, even if you don't have a house and you are just staying below the tree, at least by glorifying that devotee, you should honor that devotee. That's what the Prabhupada says. Atiti Rupena. Similarly here, Atiti Rupena, that here Parikshit Maharaj doesn't have anything of his own now. With his words, he's glorifying his spiritual master. So here, very much important that we have to understand, when we get up and you do Namo Vishnupada, Krishna Prishthaya, after that you have to glorify our Guru every day. So every day you should be equipped with one glorification or one memory of Srila Prabhupada, one pastime of Srila Prabhupada, that you can, next day morning, that you can able to remember that pastime and glorify your Guru. And this is how we have to start our day. So Parikshit Maharaj is trying to teach us here. So, and lesson 4, devotional service attracts Vaishnava's grace. Krishna Karshati. It's not only attract Krishna, it also attracts Vaishnavas. So, we have to see that when Parikshit Maharaj was decided to atone for his sin, and he fasted until death, and hearing this news, we got to know from the previous verses, and all the sages and great sages that came there to assemble there. And this itself is such a wonderful, auspicious moment that they are blessing Parikshit Maharaj. And he is completely purified from all the sins. Because, see, what Krishna also says, Gnana Vignaya Sahitam Yagnatva Mokshase Ashubhat. You will be completely free from Ashubha. Ashubha means birth and death is Ashubha. So, who will come at the point of our death? Probably our relatives, things like that. But here the great saints and sadhus and pure devotees who are coming there, itself it shows that he was completely purified, and further because of their grace, further because of their blessings, further because of their mercy, that Parikshit Maharaj was able to invite Sukadeva Goswami in his life. Similarly, very important in our life, what we have to understand is the devotees who are there around us are very much important in our life. We should properly honor them, properly respect them, properly serve them. And this is how we can invite Srila Prabhupada in our hearts, and that's how we are able to understand Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and all Prabhupada properly, and we can really go back to Godhead. So, such a wonderful, isn't it? So, we have to develop that eagerness. We should develop that eagerness to associate with the devotees that we generally lack. So, it is not that it is that difficult, but it's easy, but it requires a mind. It requires really to work upon ourselves to really appreciate others' activities and their work. And Prabhupada says in one of the letters in 25th December 1969, it says, a devotee should associate with fellow devotees and relationship to others. The devotee should try to elevate them also onto the spiritual platform. 25th December 1969, Prabhupada says, I again repeat, a devotee should associate with fellow devotees and relationship to others. The devotee should try to elevate them also onto the spiritual platform. It's not that spiritual life is, I got Hare Krishna mantra, I got Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, I got everything, the kit, and now let me purify myself and go back to Godhead. No. Krishna consciousness is all about cooperation. Krishna consciousness is all about living together. If we live together in cooperation and perform our duties as given by our authorities and Srila Prabhupada, and the same thing you will do in the spiritual world. Otherwise, again, if you have, anyway, the whole kit is there, go to spiritual world, you will have, no, then I don't like this devotee, I don't like that devotee, then that doesn't happen. So here, this is not only in this, we have to understand that how, lesson number 5 is that how a devotee, as I was saying before, how a householder, a grasta should treat a sannyasi or a devotee. See, here, Parikshit Maharaj did not waste his time. Generally, what happens when we meet someone, what would ask? How are you? What are you doing? And where are you working? And this kind of things, all the welfare activities would ask. But here, Parikshit Maharaj, instead of wasting his time asking about the welfare of the sages, he is immediately asking that he preferred to inquire about what a person should do at the point of his death. What is his activity? What is his duty? So, this is not only in this case. I was just going through Bhagavatam, and even in the case of Prithu Maharaj, it comes in the 4th canto, 22nd chapter, where Prithu Maharaj meets the 4 Kumaras. So, during that process, he is saying, Prabhupada says, there is no need to ask about your good and bad fortune because you are always absorbed in spiritual bliss. Bhavatsu kushala prashna atma rameshu neshyate. So instead of wasting the time by asking Kumaras about their welfare, he preferred to inquire from them whether he could soon relieve from the dangerous position of material existence. Samprche bhavayetasmin kshemaha kshenanjasa bhavet. So he is asking what I should achieve so that I can reach the ultimate goal of my life. So here even Prithu Maharaj even though he is a pure devotee and he is meeting other pure devotees, Sanat Kumaras, but there he is teaching what you have to understand is to a common man that whenever we meet a great saintly person, we should immediately surrender to them and inquire and ask about relief from our material sufferings and material pains of our material existence is what we have to really do. So, and I was just thinking, and further in 11th canto, 2nd chapter, wonderful, where Maharaja Nimi, so when he meets Navayogendras are the 9 sons of Rishabdeva, Kavi, Havi, Antariksha, Prabuddha, Pipalayana, Avihotra, Chamasa, Karabhaja, Durmila. These are the 9 Navayogendras. When Maharaja Nimi is meeting this Navayogendras, as soon as he met them, immediately his first question was Dullabo manasho deho dehinam kshanabanguraha tatrapi dullabam manye vaikunta priyadarshanam. So he is saying that I have got this human form of body, how can I perfect my life? How can I engage myself in devotional service? Is that question is asked. So, Prabhupada is writing here in the purport that King Nemi never asked about how are you doing, how is your health, how is your wealth. He didn't ask about those things, directly asking question about ultimate goal of life. So, because even in moments of association of devotees is durlabha, it's very auspicious, and we'll not get that opportunity. Once in a Sunday, all come and meet some devotees or meet to each other. And we should get that opportunity, and it's not simply waste your time. Even that moments of time, simply asking about the welfare of others, of the fellow devotees. Rather than that, we should ask about how I can really purify myself, how we can parasparanukathanam. So that further will go. So understand, we have to discuss how I can completely purify myself is what we have to discuss. That should be the main subject here. So there's a wonderful story, the pastime of Srila Prabhupada, which happened in January 1976. One Srila Prabhupada was traveling in a train from Madras to Nellore, along with the three other devotees, Harishori Prabhu and Harikesh Maharaj and Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So all three devotees accompanied Srila Prabhupada, and it so happened, and there were three men who were hanging around the corner in the train, and they were just peeping in, and they were just looking at Srila Prabhupada to get his attention. Because in India, they see any guru with lot of disciples, things like that, they would feel that, oh, he is a very great guru, and things like that, will take blessings from him. So similarly, there's three people, they wanted to see Prabhupada, and somehow they tried their best, but all the three devotees tried to get them away because they didn't want to waste Srila Prabhupada's time. But they were reluctant to go away, but somehow they made some eye movement and things like that, and got Prabhupada's attention, and Prabhupada looked at them, and Prabhupada called them, okay, please come in. So when Prabhupada called them, this all three devotees who came there, and Prabhupada asked, okay, what do you want from me? Then all the three the people who came, the passengers, they said, we want your blessings. So then Prabhupada, what blessings you want? Then Prabhupada again asked. So they said, someone is saying, one person is saying, I don't have a job, and another person is saying, I want to get my daughter married, things like that. So Prabhupada looked at them, and he said, and he indicated the three disciples, look at these three disciples of mine who have shaven head and kantimala and saffron robes and completely like mendicants. And Prabhupada showed at them and saying, this is my blessing. So this boy have given up everything for Krishna, and they have taken up chanting on the name of Krishna, and this is my blessing. Do you want? Are you prepared for this blessing? I mean, immediately by hearing this, they were flabbergasted, and they didn't know what to do. There was all kinds of wild thoughts was going in their mind, and immediately they flew from that place and went away from the place. So we have to understand that what is our duty when we meet a devotee is very important. So lesson number 6 is that, so we should understand the etiquettes of inquiry. So that is the 31 and 32 is explaining about verse number 31 and 32, explaining what should be the etiquette of inquiry. Yes, ISKCON gives everything free. So this Bhagavatam class is a free class, and some online classes, and after that nice prasadam and free association, free kirtan, free, everything is free. But we have to understand, as one quote in Bible says, to him who knocks, the door will be open. Ask and it will be given. Seek and you will find. So it should be from the other side also, not that just having a selfish motive to only gather more, things more. So we should inquire for our spiritual progress. So here, there are a few important points where we have to apply in our life, how we can apply those etiquettes in our life so that we can properly inquire from our authorities, from our spiritual guides or mentors. So first and important is just like Krishna also says, in important sloka 4.34, what is that? Tad viddipane patena paraprashna seva. So we know that we should humbly and submissively we should approach the spiritual master and serve him, things like that. So even in Arjuna's life, you see, Arjuna is not arrogantly demanding answers from Krishna. So he kept off all his bow and arrow and crown and everything. And with all humility, he is, with all respect and all humility, he is asking, I become your shishya, I become disciple, please guide me. So, first and foremost, with all humility, just like Parikshit Maharaj is showing us here, with all humility, we should ask questions from our spiritual guides and mentors. And second one is with proper purpose and the clarity of your question should be there. Not, okay, Prabhupada has told to ask some questions, ask some vague questions. Waste his time also, my time also. No, we should ask for a purpose. The purpose should be there, the right purpose. Just like Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, when they met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Ramakeli the first time. So then Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami, they were experts, they were scholars in the Persia, Arabian and Sanskrit. And the Sanatana Goswami is saying that people say that I am learned and scholar, but I don't know anything. And I am a fool. And I don't know what is the real purpose. So he says, Kemi, Kemore, Japat Tapatraya. I don't know what is the purpose of my life. I am suffering in this material world. So please really help me. I don't know anything. So in that mood, in the right purpose, we have to surrender or inquire from our authorities. And one more important point, very interesting to me was, just imagine where Parikshit Maharaj is saying about Sukadeva Goswami that Api go dohanam kvachita. So Sukadeva Goswami used to stay in one place in a house of a person long enough to milk a cow. It's probably how much you may take to milk a cow. I would say 10 minutes, max to max 10 minutes for a desi breed. I don't know about hybrid. So desi breed 10 minutes it will take. So Parikshit Maharaj was to, so Sukadeva Goswami was to stay only for 10 or 15 minutes in one place. In that case, Sukadeva Goswami would have long back gone away from that assembly if Parikshit Maharaj had not asked open-ended questions. Because closed-ended questions, these are closed-ended questions. How are you? Where are you doing? How are you working? Did you eat? Did you had darshan? Did you chant? These are all closed questions. It's open kind of questions. So the Bhagavatam would have ended by first canto itself. And probably next 15,000 verses would not all emerged or not all come. It's only because Parikshit Maharaj was always attentive and he used all of his 7 days to ask this kind of questions to get Bhavadbir Loka Mangalam, Munibir Sadhu Pushtoham. They're asking questions so that it's not beneficial only for me, for beneficial for everyone. So selfless, isn't it? So, and one more important the etiquette for us to inquire properly is attentive hearing, just like Narada also. How attentively as a child he attentively listened to the Bhaktivedantas and he never interrupted them. After he lost his mother and he went across all the rivers and villages, towns and went to the forest and sat for the meditation and just he started meditating what he had learned, what he had heard. And that's what attentive hearing should be like that. And with all the patience and gratitude. And finally the fifth one is, with all the patience and gratitude, we have to submissively surrender or inquire from our authorities. So patience and gratitude. I got recently we had one play in our ashram about Narottam Das Thakur. And last 2 years back, we had also been to Keturi Gram in Bangladesh, and it was wonderful. The Narottam Das Thakur's pastime is amazing. So when Narottam Das Thakur was instructed by Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami to take Diksha from Loknath Das Goswami, Loknath Das Goswami reluctantly always used to refuse, because never he didn't wanted any disciples, because he was very humble. So, but this Narottam Das Thakur, he never persisted or troubled him or pestered him to get Diksha. But instead of this, what he did is secretly he started cleaning the place where Loknath Goswami used to relieve himself early in the morning and make ready for his bath and fill the water and get the towels and everything ready. And he did it silently for 1 year. And not taking up the stool, cleaning that place for 1 year without any recognition. We may see, what we may do, we may leave some footprints behind or let people recognize us somewhere or other. That I haven't done like that. But here, Narottam Das Thakur, without any reciprocation, seeking any reciprocation or attention from the Loknath Das Goswami, he was sincerely was serving Loknath Goswami. That earned him the grace of Loknath Goswami. So that's why Loknath Goswami was very much pleased by him, and he initiated him. So this is important points which you have to learn here. And lesson number 7, very importantly, which has been said in this verse about the humility. How the humility is very vital in our spiritual progress. So although we know that king was come from the royal family and was in the lineage of pure devotees. He was also a pure devotee, and Mahabhagavata and Dwasa Mahabhagavatas is one among them. And but still he feels unworthy about himself. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says humility is one of the important abharana of a devotee. Sadhavaha sadbhushanam. And for a devotee, abharana is not this clothes or jewelries or gold, silver, no, or hairstyle, no. Our abharana for a sadhu, sadhu means the sadhu life which you will have to follow, not saffron robes and shaven head. And Prabhupada is teaching that the sadhu's lakshana is wonderful, that humility, that should be the important abharana that we all have to wear. So, here Parikshit Maharaj, rather than taking pride about himself as a king, but himself is acknowledging that it's only because of Sukadeva Goswami's mercy that I am able to get service of Krishna, devotional service. So it's only because of the mercy of our devotees who are around us, we get mercy of Srila Prabhupada, mercy of Krishna. We have to understand this. And that's what he says, that Aho Adya Vayam Brahman, by your mercy only you have sanctified us. So important point what you have to learn here is 7a. Lesson is he recognized the greatness in others. Sukadeva Goswami, the Parikshit Maharaj, he recognized the greatness in the Sukadeva Goswami, even though whole society has regarded him as a great king and things like that, despite all of social prestige and social convention status, but he recognized him, and he is saying, we are unworthy. A king coming to a sadhu and saying we are unworthy is very rare. And here he is saying the same thing when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life also we can see, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also showing in his life when he meets Sarva Bhattacharya, when he first goes to Jagannath Puri, and Sarva Bhattacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that time he was known as Nimai Pandit, and he was very scholar, and across Bangladesh and West Bengal he had a lot of name and fame. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Sarva Bhattacharya began to instruct Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regarding Vedanta, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simply sat for 7 days and very patiently heard from Sarva Bhattacharya without interrupting him. So, here it shows that even though you are so advanced, but still for a social convention, and we have to always glorify others, we have to always recognize others' greatness, is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. And even in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had gone to Varanasi, Kashi, when he goes to an assembly where Prakashananda Saraswati was there, where did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sit? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sit near the place where there was a chapel stand was there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat there and started glorifying the Prakashananda Saraswati. So, humanly, we have to understand here, even though Chaitanya, one more instance was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even though he was spiritual master of Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Thakur, and Chaitanya, because of they used to feel themselves outcast, and they used to leave, they never used to come to Jagannath temple, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu every day used to go and feed the devotees with his own hands and take care of them. And in fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to glorify Haridas Thakur that you are Namacharya. Such a wonderful thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is exhibiting here. And here in Prataprudras, Prabhupada saying in purport here, that how Maharaj Prataprudra was also was such a great devotee that he wanted to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and have his darshan. So it's so important in our life that if you just see even Pratapradra's life, actually Prataprudra, he tried so many times to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But always, many times he was denied the darshan or a personal association. Sarva Bhattacharya, the Nityananda Prabhu, Ramananda Raya, Advaita Acharya, everyone go in plea. They everyone go asking for an association with Prataprudra. But he never gave darshan to Prataprudra. So, but it so happened, once Nityananda Prabhu, somehow he makes a plan and he says that at least you give your, when Prataprudra Raja was so much despondent and was so much distressed that why at all, what is the use of this kingdomship, why the royal kingship, and better I would give away this, better renounce, because Chaitanya Prabhu doesn't wanted me because I'm a king. So let me give away this, let me end off my life. When this was conveyed to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt very happy, very, very pleased. And so Nityananda Prabhu, first what he gave, he sent Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's little cloth to send through Chaitanya to Prataprudra, and Chaitanya Prataprudra every day used to worship that cloth as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. And further, when Ramananda Raya, he also somehow convinced Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to meet Pratapudra's son. Prataprudra was having 4 wives and 32 children. He had 32 children. One of the child was Purushottama. And so Purushottama was a little blackish and he was having a fair look. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that son was a young prince, immediately he reminded himself of Krishna and he hugged him. And he gave his mercy by hugging to that child. And after that, when child hugged Prataprudra, again when he went back to the kingdom, and he received this mercy. And in this way, Prataprudra was struggling so hard, was so working so hard to get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And even finally, when Sarva Bhattacharya finally he makes a plan that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when you broom in front of Ratha Yatra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very pleased. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that time he will be very in ecstasy, he will be dancing, and because of his tiredness, he would take some rest in there's a garden, Jagannath Vallabha garden there, and that time you disguise yourself as a common man, and you come there, and pressing the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you chant Gopika Gita, this 10th canto, in 10th canto, the songs of gopis, you chant that. And when Prataprudra followed the same way, and he got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he hugged Prataprudra. And this is how he got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in fact, it says that Prataprudra was so lamenting when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this planet that he used to beat his chest and beat. He used to lament so much that next to few years he left his body. That's what they say, that he went to Vrindavan and he left his body. That was the greatness of that King Prataprudra here. So. And we are running out of time, but I would just take 5 more minutes of yours. So here it's saying one more important point I just want to convey here is the association of devotees. Association of devotees is very much important in our life. That's how we can spiritually improve in our spiritual life, that we can progress in our spiritual life. It acts as a catalyst in our spiritual life. And we can take, I was just looking here, why the hearing of Krishna Katha, even we also hear from many devotees or from YouTube, or we also hear from many devotees, why it is not really transforming our hearts. So, hearing of Krishna Katha, especially from the pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, it definitely transform our heart. When we hear Prabhupada's voice every day, every moment, keep hearing, definitely he will bring a transformation heart. It is said, Anumodanti Chadritaha. So, it is saying that when a devotee, when a person associate, when he goes and associate with a pure devotee, what would he generally discuss only about Krishna? Machchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam. You always will be thinking about Krishna. And Krishna and Krishna Nama and Krishna Katha are non-different. You know, what is that verse? What is that? So, the Krishna name and Krishna's the Katha are non-different from him. So, this verse, it says that Krishna himself is Krishna Katha. When Krishna enters our ear holes and he goes inside our heart and he purifies our heart. Abhinatvam nama naminoho. So, there is no difference between Krishna and Krishna Katha. So, similarly, when a devotee associate with a pure devotee and the transformation happens in his heart. See that in this context, what flashed in my mind was when Vidura, when he once probably few days before Mahabharata war, when Dhritarashtra was so much despondent, was much distressed and depressed, and that time at one night he calls for Vidura to give some instruction or some message so that he can soothe himself, his mind will be calm. So when the Vidura came, and whole night he spoke about the self-realization topics and things like that, and which later came out as a Vidura Niti. Even now we can find out Vidura Niti. But there was not an iota of a change which happened in Dhritarashtra's life. But when same Vidura was humiliated by Duryodhana, and Vidura left home and went for a pilgrimage, and he meets Maitra Rishi, meets Uddhava and so many great devotees, and he had an intense desire. He was so much engrossed. He had intense desire to hear Krishna Katha. And when he heard Krishna Katha from them, those Krishna Katha transformed his heart. And when same Vidura, when he came back after the Mahabharata war, met Dhritarashtra and spoke for a few words, minutes, and that made Dhritarashtra, who was so much attached to the material things and material name, fame, positions and all those things, immediately he also got realization, and all the three left home without even Yudhishthira's notice. So just imagine how the power of this Krishna Katha makes our life very powerful. So Chaitanya Prabhu, further Prabhupada, he says in purport, Asatsanga Tyaga ye achara, Sri Sangi Eka Sadhu, Krishna Bhakta Ara. That also Chaitanya Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, that devotees, we should avoid association of the non-devotees, and also people who are very much attached to the women. So to conclude here, very much important that, as Kapila Deva also says, Satam Prasanga Mamavir Samvido Bhavandhirit Karna Rasayanam Pibaha Yajjoshanam Asavargya Vartmani Shraddha Bhaktir Anukramishati. So we have to associate with our devotees, fellow devotees, and do chanting, and do reading, and do devotional service, and in that way you have to progress. Parasparanukathanam Bhagavatam Yashaha Mitoratihi Mitatushtihi Mitaha Mitaratmanaha. So Parasparanukathanam. So we have to be in association with devotees, and this way we can really progress very fast and quickly in our life, and please Srila Prabhupada and authorities in this way. So let's all pray to their lordships and Srila Prabhupada to bless us more with devotees association, and without any any prejudices or the preconceived notions about any devotee. Let's simply associate with them and discuss only about Krishna Katha, so that we can also progress in our spiritual life. Anyone has any questions or comments or anything like that? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantarashmat Bhagavatam ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.